This is a new type of video I'm trying to make. It's kind of a roundup of interesting evergreens that I see online. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of content, and maybe I'll do more of these. The first one is a Florida yew for sale on mailordernatives.com. Looks like there's only one in stock, but I have two of these planted in my yard, and they've done very well in Tennessee, even withstanding some pretty cold temperatures. Also on the Mail Order Natives website, they have Ocala anise. Looks like they have 9 in stock, and they're only $12, so that's going to be one of the cheapest sources of Elysium parviflorum online right now. One more on Mail Order Natives. This one is the Red Bay, and it looks like they have 6 in stock. I have 1 in the ground, and I'm actually planting 2 more this fall. So far, it's been surprisingly good at surviving cold weather, so let's see. There is a blight going around in its native range, but maybe Tennessee is far enough removed where I won't have that problem, so think about getting one yourself if you want to experiment with an endangered tree. Now moving over to Cistus Nursery. This is a nursery out in Oregon. They have Araucaria araucana. That's the monkey puzzle tree. I have not tried growing one of those in Tennessee. I've seen them attempted in Chattanooga, and I think they eventually got killed by the cold. But if you're pretty adventurous and maybe further south than Tennessee, you might try one. Looks like they have 7 of these in stock for only $28, so I'd imagine it's a pretty small specimen. And another offering from Cistus Nursery is Schefflera della Valle. Looks like they have 20 in stock as of now, and I'm planting 2 of these in my collection this fall, so I don't really have any long-term survivability info to give you, but I did see some very large ones at the Botanical Gardens in Raleigh, North Carolina this summer, so it's not out of the question for the South, but I don't know how well it can hold up in a Zone 7A, for example, like I'm in. I should mention that I'm not getting any money from these websites to tell you about this. I'm just sharing with you guys some interesting trees that I see that are on offer online. So I'm moving now to a website where I've never actually ordered anything, and that is Sooner Plant Farm in Oklahoma. But every now and then they have some interesting things. This one is the Picea polata, tiger tail spruce, and looks like it's coming from Isley Nursery in Oregon, maybe being transshipped or not even coming through Oklahoma, direct shipped. And this also looks like a pre-order for delivery later on. So if you want to try to get one of these, this one looks pretty expensive. 6-gallon, that's fairly large, but would probably be the only source for Picea polata online at the moment. Here's another one from Sooner Plant Farm, the giant sequoia, Sequoia dendron giganteum. I thought it was interesting that they have 2 different sizes on offer, and this looks to be the same situation where it's really coming from Oregon, and it's going to be delivered later in the spring. So that's interesting. I'm not sure that I would buy from Sooner Plant Farm, because if I was going to get a giant sequoia, I would probably look at Western evergreen or maybe even Jostens, and I have not personally had success growing them here in Tennessee because of Cercospora. But if you want to try your luck and you're ordering from Sooner anyway, just wanted to call your attention to this interesting offer. Now moving to a website that I do have experience ordering from, directnativeplants.com. This is the Atlantic white cedar, Chamaecyparis thyoides, native to the eastern United States. And I see a lot of online nurseries that sell things like Japanese maples, sell a ton of Chamaecyparis obtusa, which is kind of the Japanese version of this, but this one is the native North American one. And I think it just has much better cold tolerance and disease resistance in general. So if you want to grow a false cypress, which is the genus Chamaecyparis, this appears to be the straight species and not one of the many named dwarf cultivars, so it will be a full-size tree. And I have 2 of these in my collection, and they've been doing fairly well here in Tennessee. And here is the last one I will show today, also from Direct Native Plants, and that is plain old mountain laurel, Culmia latifolia, native to the eastern United States. Even though this is pretty widely dispersed across the eastern U.S., it's fairly rare in cultivation, and so Direct Native happens to have it right now. I do have one. It is a small named dwarf cultivar. I wish I had the full size. I actually tried to grow one. I can't remember where I got it, maybe from Woodlanders, and it didn't make it, so I think it's a little bit tricky to grow, but if you have the right growing conditions, it's definitely super cold hardy. And as you can see from the stock photo there, it has some interesting blooms as well. So That's an interesting one. That wraps it up for this time. And again, like I said, let me know if this is useful. Kind of the idea is that I'm checking these websites all the time. Might as well share with you guys if I see something interesting that piques my interest. If it's a good idea, let me know. If not, I won't do any more of these and I'll stick with the garden videos. Of course, I will keep making the garden videos. I just mean that I won't make any more of these.